CIL 650 presents It's Your Money, an up-close and personal look at your finances. Here's your host, Fred Snyder.
Up in the morning and out to school.
Okay, we are back. We're live, we're interactive, we're up close and personal. We're talking about your money and how to keep it. Your money and how to keep it is what this show is all about, and we teach you precisely that. We will tell you exactly how much money you need to retire whenever you want to retire. We'll tell you exactly how much income you need. We'll tell you exactly where that money's going to come from. We'll develop a written financial plan, which is a blueprint which bridges you from where you are right now to where you want to go financially. And over 90% of the people I meet and talk to every week do not have a written financial plan. I listened to a show on CNN the other day, and it said that 75% of Americans don't have $1,000 in the bank. 75%. 75% of Americans don't have enough to retire on. I suspect the numbers in Canada are exactly the same. And why is it that we end up broke? Why is it that if we take 100 people who start out equal today at the age of 25, by the time they end up at 65, one is wealthy, only one. 4 are well-to-do, 5 are still working, 36 are dead, and the remaining 54 are dead broke, dependent on family and state. Why does this happen? One of the main reasons is they don't have a financial plan. Another reason is they're not proactive about how they deal with their money. They're reactive. They just wait for things to happen instead of making things happen. Get your future going today. Make a phone call. Call Frida. Say, I want to talk to Mr. Snyder about a written financial plan. You can't spend more than you earn. If you do, you're going to hit the wall. The governments of the world are a mass in debt. I listened to an interview by Michael Campbell, one of the world's leading financial analysts, talking about the massive amount of debt that exists in the world and how this is going to create chaos in the future. I've been saying that for years. I talked to Michael Campbell one day before a show that, this is quite a few years ago, and I said, Michael, how is the world going to get out of the tremendous amount of sovereign debt that currently exists? And he said, reflate. That means inflation. It means inflation is going to come back. So if you insist on putting your money in GICs, term deposits in Canada savings bonds, at very low rates of interest, say 2%, excuse me, 2%, and the government taxes that, you're left with slightly more than 1% after tax. And if inflation is 3%, your real return is negative. How can you become financially independent on a negative rate of return? How can you get the rate of return that you really need on your investments? Are you getting the rate of return that you need to achieve your objectives? Do you even know what the numbers are? Let's just suppose that you want to retire at 65. Let's say that you want an inflation-adjusted income to last between age 65 and we'll say life expectancy age 90. So you want that money to last for 25 years. And let's say that the amount of income that you need is $40,000 a year, but it's inflation adjusted at 3%. Do you know how much capital you need at age 65 to achieve that objective? And if you're 40 today, do you know what you have to do between age 40 and 65 to accumulate the capital? Do you know what those numbers are? You probably don't, if you're like most people. I say this is like driving around Vancouver with a bag over your head and saying, I'm never going to get into an accident. No, you certainly are. I think that just makes common sense. Einstein once said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. So over and over and over again means I don't have a financial plan, but somehow I'm going to get there. I don't have a roadmap to get from where I am right now to where I want to go, but somehow I'm going to get there. I don't have a financial advisor to turn to if I need help, but somehow I'm going to get that help if I need it. I don't have the best products in my financial plan, the best investment products. I don't even know if I have the best or the worst or whatever. You're driving around blind. And you got to fix it. And the way that you fix it is by making a phone call. Area code 604-280-0650. Long distance, 877-280-0650. Log on, www.cial650.com. Frida's down at the office. For those who are shy, you can call Frida down at the office right now. Area code 604-737-3512. If you're calling long distance, it's 800-661-1495. If you just tuned in, I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder, also a registered financial planner representing Scotia McLeod, and I've dedicated my career to teaching people what they need to know to make better financial decisions so that they can become financially independent sooner and stay financially independent longer. Sum it up simply by saying your money and how to keep it. That's the bottom line. Most people earn enough money to become financially independent. They just don't know how to keep it. The last number of weeks we had a contest on this show where we gave away $500. We're going to do the same thing once again today. And we're going to talk about the cost of home ownership. How much does it cost, really, whether you rent or own is irrelevant. What's it cost for the roof over your head? What does it cost? What should it cost? How do you calculate that? Because you have to put that into your budget. Someone once said if you can't measure it, you can't plan it. So you have to be able to measure costs. So we've been helping you. We talked about the cost of groceries. We talked about the cost of driving a car. Okay? We talked about the cost of insurance. How much do you need to put into your savings? These are all issues, and you have to budget for them. So today, we're going to say or talk about what's it cost for the roof over your head. If you rent, there's a certain cost. Is it cheaper to have a roof over your head if you rent than if you own? Are you better off to own or rent? How do you make that decision? This is what we're talking about. Let's talk to Helen from Richmond. Helen, welcome to the program.
Hi, Fred. How are you doing?
Pretty good, Helen. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'll just say $1,400 a month for a roof over your head.
$1,400 a month.
But I've got a couple of other things I want to ask you about.
Okay.
There's a property auction coming up where people haven't paid their property taxes at City Hall. Do you know anything about those?
Well, I know that the government from time to time, when people get in arrears on their property taxes, they put the house up for sale.
Well, that's right. They
People
do
who
that
are over
once a year
55
here.
can defer property taxes legally.
Yeah. Well,
That's
a lot of
something.
people, I guess, don't know that because
Something that
haven't
people
done
should
that.
certainly consider.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any extra fees, like they want you to come in with the money, outright or to buy the property.
I don't know, but
at
I'll
the
tell you how to
auction.
find
And if
out.
not, you go,
Google it.
get a chance the next day.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been to one, but I was curious.
Have you Googled it?
No, I haven't.
Try Google.
The other thing, Fred, I was thinking about, getting to the students. I had my daughter in Air Cadets, Royal Canadian Air Cadets,
Mm-hmm.
over at the Armory on number 4 Road, meeting on Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
So you might Google that, Squadron 655, and talk to those kids, because they're big enough to get your money issues.
Squadron 655.
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
Girls and boys, teens,
Mm-hmm.
good time to get into it.
Well, I think the time to get people interested, the best time to get people into a financial plan is the day they're born. Can you imagine a newborn baby making a financial plan?
Yeah.
Wouldn't work, but their parents can certainly make a financial plan for a newborn baby.
But how many people do that?
I don't think it's ever happened, but they
Yeah.
should.
Well, I kicked in money for our ESPs when each of my grandkids were born.
There's a newborn baby, and I took that out of a magazine the other day. It says there's 22,463 days until retirement. That's on average. I call that the average Canadian lifeline. That's how long you're going to live, the day you're born till the day you die. So what's the plan to cover that particular time span? What is the plan? And you could make a plan, you could make a case to make a plan for that newborn baby. The newborn baby is going to go to high school until they're 18. They're going to go to college until they're 22. They're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, some kind of a professional. So maybe they're in school until they're 25 or 26. Then they're, that's how you make a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Napoleon Hill once said that anything you can vividly imagine, ardently desire, and enthusiastically act upon will inevitably come to pass.
Yeah.
And I believe that that's true.
I wanted to say, too, that we're all looking forward to your classes starting up soon.
Well, we're getting there.
Oh, good. Good on you.
Takes time.
Yeah.
But Helen, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your call, and good luck, because if you're the closest to that magic number, you win $500.
Well, I want you to know I dialed you before you said that.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. We just appreciate all you do. Thanks so much to you and your staff.
Well, Helen, I appreciate your compliment and your participation.
Okay. Hope to see you soon.
You
Fred.
enjoy the
Thank
rest
you.
of the weekend.
Thanks, you too.
Take
Bye
care.
now.
Bye-bye. Okay, if you just tuned in, Helen's line is now open. And we do have open lines, and we're taking your calls, and we're giving away money. At least we're trying to. So anyone who comes close to estimating, according to the statistics that we use, anybody who comes close to that number will win $500. So what's it cost for the roof over your head on average? Does it cost $1,000 a month? Does it cost $2,000 a month? What do you include in those costs? Did you ever really think about how do you figure out, let's say you own your own house. How do you figure out the cost of repairs? Let's say you got to put a new roof on that house. How long does a cedar roof last? Does anybody know? It's supposed to be about 20 years. Okay? So if you buy a new house, and it's brand new and it's got a cedar roof on it, the roof is going to have to be replaced in 20 years. It's going to cost, in today's dollars, about $40,000. So how do you figure that? How do you put that into your budget? Well, you'd amortize $40,000 over the next 20 years, and you're going to come up with a number, and that's what you put down. You put down a monthly cost for the roof. That's repairs. How many times do you go to Rona and spend some money at Rona? Okay, how do you figure that out? What about, we had a bat in our kitchen the other day, and we had to bring a bat exterminator in to make sure we didn't have bats in the attic. That cost $200. How do you figure those incidentals into your budget? You have to figure it all out. And you can Google it. You can Google all kinds of things and come up with all kinds of budget formats and software that's on the internet. I was there this morning looking at everything that's out there. The most fabulous financial tool that's available for people today is Google. Okay? You have every library in the world on your iPhone or your iPad or whatever electronic device you use. It is there. So get on the line and give us a call. The number is area code 604-280-0650. Long distance 877-280-0650. Log on www.CIL650.com. Frida's down at the office for those who are shy or reluctant to talk on the air at area code 604-737-3512. The long distance 800-661-1495. We have Haley from Bowen Island. Haven't had a call from Bowen Island in a long time. Haley, welcome to the program.
Hi.
Hi, Haley.
I'm a new-time listener. I've listened for the past couple of weeks.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thanks. Great.
How's the weather over on Bowen Island today?
As always, it's beautiful.
I'm going out fishing this afternoon.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
So what do you think it costs for the roof over your head?
$2,400 a month.
$2,400 a month. Do you own your own house?
No, I did, but I don't now.
You're renting, eh?
Yeah.
So is that how much rent you pay?
No.
What other costs are there?
Pardon me?
What other costs are there besides rent?
Well, there's your tax. There's upkeep. There's everything.
There's insurance on your belongings?
That's true.
You don't probably have to make any repairs because you don't own the place. But there's the cost of utilities. What do you put down for utilities?
Oh,
I'm talking about electricity. I'm talking about gas. I'm talking about phone. I'm talking about internet.
Yeah, see, it depends on the home, especially on Bowen Island. If
Sure.
utilities can be huge here.
Well, I usually, no, I can't give any hints. I was going to say what I usually figure for people. But it depends. Like if you rent a place, it's usually cheaper. Sometimes the landlord pays some of these things, and sometimes they don't. But you need to start with a budget, and there's budget worksheets available right on the internet that can help you figure all these things out. That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
So you figure it's $2,400.
Yeah. A month. Yeah. Not a year.
No. All these numbers I want them monthly.
Perfect.
If you give me an annual amount, I'll just divide it by 12. And that's what everybody should do. And if it's if it's an expense that happens every 5 years, you divide it by 5 years, then divide it by 12. Just amortize it out on a monthly basis. That's the way you do it. We talked about the cost of groceries per adult. Cost of groceries per adult came to $350 a month. For a single adult, $350 a month just for food. And I'm not talking about eating out. I'm just talking about groceries.
Yeah. When you add in eating out, that gets a little higher.
Well, when it comes to eating out, that comes under entertainment. Maybe next week we'll talk about what do you spend on entertainment? What do you spend on clothes? How do you figure these things out? If you're sitting down, like the first thing that you have to do if you want to do better financially is manage your spending. And you cannot manage your spending without a budget. And if you have trouble filling in the blanks, like how much does it cost for housing, if you have trouble figuring that out, we're trying to help you with that area. We're trying to get focused on that area. Because I find when I sit, I'll give clients and potential clients a data form. I'll say, take this home, fill it out, and send it back to me. They have a hard time doing it. They can't even figure out what the numbers are. Like what should people spend on homeowners insurance? I'm talking about insurance on your house and belongings. What's the cost?
Probably, $180 a month?
$180 a month. Okay.
Is that too
But
high?
that's a highly variable. If you live in a small apartment, it might cost you $30 a month.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So it
Oh,
depends.
I was including property tax, sorry.
This doesn't include property tax. That's a whole nother issue. You don't have to pay property taxes because you're renting, right?
Oh, no, I don't. No. I'm just remembering when I had a house. All these numbers I should have known then and should have listened to your radio station then.
Well, people, and I get enough feedback from clients because I sit down face-to-face every day with 4 to 5 people, and I interview them. It's called the client discovery process. I ask all these questions. I know they have a hard time with some of the answers. If I say, what does your vacation cost? I can spend a half an hour trying to figure that one out. They don't know. So if you don't know what it costs, how can you manage it? My mother used to use envelopes. She'd take an envelope and she'd put money in there, cash in there. This is the money for the groceries. This is the money for the insurance man, and so on and so on. That's how she controlled her expenditures. Called the envelope system. Google it. It actually exists. It works.
It probably would work for me, actually.
Everybody needs a budget. So what happens if you're 3 weeks into the month and there's another week to go and the envelope with the grocery money in it has run out? What do?
Ramen noodles comes to mind.
I remember when I first got married and I didn't have much money. I lived on pork and beans, saving up money for the honeymoon. Okay, so you do what you have to do. I guess that's the bottom line. So you have Haley, you have $2,400 a month. Appreciate your call. I hope you win. Good luck.
Hey, thanks.
And
Bye
thanks
now.
so much for calling. Okay, you just tuned in. I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder, also registered financial planner. Remember, there's only 22,463 days left until retirement if you're a newborn baby. And you are not if you're listening to this show. So therefore, how much time do you have left between now and retirement, and what are you going to do with that time? We're talking about your money. We're talking about your money and how to keep it. That's the important part of that. Okay? So again, the show really is not AM 650 anymore. It's CIL 650. So we've had a name change, and we're here every Sunday between 9 and 11. The portion of the show between 9 and 10 is last week's show. It's a replay, but this is live. And this is your chance to get your 2 cents worth in there simply by giving us a call. Maybe you have a question. Maybe you have a comment about the show. Maybe there's something you want to share with our listeners about something you did financially that made sense. Maybe you have a question about your expenses, or maybe about your investments, or about your financial advisor. Someone called last week and said, how do I find a financial advisor? Well, we sent them a book on how to do that. And frankly, I think I might start giving that book away en masse. Anybody who calls the show gets a copy of that book, How to Find a Financial Advisor. Okay, I have David from Burnaby on the line. David, welcome to the program.
Hi, Fred.
Hi, David. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
I've been listening to your show for a few years now. This is the first time I called in.
Well, thanks for calling in.
I'm just kind of intrigued by that question on home ownership, because in Vancouver, wouldn't it be much higher than anywhere else?
Oh, sure is.
In Canada?
Sure is. I'll show you what I did this morning. I'm working on all these areas. So these are all web pages. They're Stats Canada. Everybody should know that address. And this is the cost of a vacation. And this is the true cost of owning a house right here. And this is what I came up with. And I'm not going to go through this because I don't want to give the show away, but this is an article written by Rob Carrick in the Globe and Mail on what's it cost to own a house. And it's a fairly variable number, okay?
Yeah.
Because a lot of that depends on how big is the mortgage, depends on, is it a new house, what are the repairs? How do you calculate all these things? It's a tough one. That's probably the toughest part of your budget. But there's also a worksheet that comes with this on this webpage, an Excel worksheet that you can click on, and you click on that worksheet, just fill in the blanks. It'll help you do all the calcs.
Yeah, because I had a condo a few years back, and it cost me $1,500 a month just in my mortgage payments.
But it cost you more than $1,500 a month because you had condo fees.
Yeah, not including the condo fees, because I had the condo fees, and then you have all the other expenses too.
Well, you got utilities too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about the mortgage payment. I'm talking about depreciation. I'm talking about all the costs that are associated with that house or that residence. Let's call it a residence.
Yeah, like the upkeep and all that.
Yeah.
So that's the number that you're looking for with not just the mortgage.
It's a budgetary number. It's a number that you put into your budget. Mm-hmm. That's what we're talking about. And the webpage is www.theglobeandmail.com, Globe Investor Personal Finance. So if you can look that up on Google, and I don't want to kind of give it away because maybe somebody's going to go in there right now and look it up. That's the problem.
Yeah, that is. And I know Rob Carrick very well because I read the Globe and Mail.
Okay, well he's an awfully good writer.
Yeah.
There's good stuff. I didn't want to plagiarize the material. I could cut and paste that and make a whole newsletter out of it, but that's plagiarism. So I just prefer to have a link and go there and take a look at it. So once again, David, your estimate is?
I think my estimate would be $2,000.
$2,000, everything in. That's the cost of the roof over your head. Okay?
I would think $2,000.
I'm going to come near the end of the show. I'm going to show you what the number is from a different source. I'm not going to give that source away right now because somebody's going to go in and look it up.
Yeah.
So we'll compare it to that. Okay?
Okay. Very, very informative show. Thank you for having it on.
Thanks, David. I appreciate your call.
Thanks, Fred.
Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Take care.
Too.
Okay, we're talking about money and how to keep it. Everybody earns enough money to become financially independent, but they don't keep it. And most people fail. We know the stats. The stats are dismal. They're discouraging. They're bleak. Besides that, they're just terrible. They're not good because we keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. We're pig-headed about it, okay? Are you broke on payday? You get your pay and it's gone. The next day it's all gone. And not only that, it's all gone, but you just had to put another $2,000 on your Visa card because you spent more than you earned. Look, you must learn that part of everything you earn is yours to keep. Part of everything you earn is yours to keep. And the only way you're going to make that happen is by spending less than you earn. The secret of financial success is deceivingly simple. You don't spend it all. Because if you spend it all, it's not your money anymore, it's somebody else's. Okay? So if you want money, you spend less than you earn. If you do that, you will amass a very large bank account. And before long, guess what? You're going to have another problem. You're going to have too much money in the bank. So now you got to take some of that money out of the bank and invest it so that the return is better than 2%. How do you invest it? Depends on your tolerance for risk. How much risk can you afford to take? How much risk can you take psychologically? The more risk you take, the better your rate of return. But also, the more risk you take, if things go wrong, the more you can lose. So you have to balance risk and reward, and you have to find a way to select the best investment products. So you find yourself a financial advisor, such as myself, to help you find the best investment products. So what criteria does a financial advisor like myself use to select the top funds? Well, in a portfolio, in the model portfolios that I recommend, offer, inside those model portfolios, we have 10 sectors. So let's suppose that one of the sectors is the Canadian equity fund. So I want to have some money invested in the #1 Canadian equity fund. Another sector is the U.S. equity fund. So I want to find the best #1 performing U.S. equity fund. How do I determine the best performance? Do I base it on what they did last year? The last 2 years, the last 3 years, the last 5 years, the last 10? What's the happy medium? It's the last 5 years. So if I pick the best fund in each one of those sectors based on performance over the last 5 years, you know that you have a fund that has a tremendous performance record. If it's the best over the last 5 years, it also has to be the best year over year. You don't want an investment fund that went up 150% in one of the last 5 years and all the others didn't make any money at all. It's got to be a consistent fund. It's got to be a 5-star fund. So there's a selection process which is well defined. If you're sitting in front of me in my office, I can define how your investments were selected. You ought to be able to put your investment statement on the table in front of you, close your eyes, drop your finger on it, and it lands on one particular investment that you have in that portfolio, and you ought to be able to describe how that fund was selected. If you can't do that, then you need to talk to your financial advisor. The financial advisor needs to explain, this is how that fund was selected. It was the best Canadian equity fund over the last 5 years. It's the most consistent performing Canadian equity fund over the last 5 years. Its risk is relatively low. Its expense ratio is relatively low. It's by any measurement, it's a top fund. That's how it was selected. I really like it. It fits into your portfolio extremely well. And I think we should put 20% of your portfolio in that fund. I don't think we should bet the farm on it, because we need to save another 20% for a top U.S. equity fund. And again, being an equity fund, do you select it because it's a growth equity fund or a value equity fund or a blended style? There's all kinds of criteria. What's the alpha? What's the beta? There's ways to measure it. So there's a procedure. And your financial advisor should be on tap, should be able to explain to you in understandable terms why he or she selected that particular fund on your behalf. So once again, if you just tuned in, I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder, also a registered financial planner representing Scotia McLeod. My mission is to teach you what you need to know to make rock-solid investment decisions so that you know how much money you have to put away to achieve your financial objectives, so that you know the rate of return that you need to achieve your financial objectives, so that you know the level of risk that's inherent in the investment selections that you currently hold. I have callers coming in right now, but I have to go to the break, so if you're calling in, just hold the line, and when we come back, we'll take your calls. Don't go away.
Fred Snyder.
I want people to call the show that are genuinely interested in increasing their financial IQ so that they can become financially independent sooner and stay financially independent longer.
Fred Snyder.
You don't have a blueprint. Imagine trying to build a house without a blueprint. And how about having a blueprint for your life? What are your lifestyle goals? You need to think about your family life. What are your goals about your family life? What are your lifestyle goals when it comes to health? What are your lifestyle goals when it comes to finances, mental and spiritual? You have to set goals in all those areas, not just finances.
Fred Snyder.
Often we fail because we put too much emphasis on one area and ignore everything else. We work our butts off and we ruin our health. So life is all about balance. So you need a life plan.
Fred Snyder.
Napoleon Hill says this, wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. Anything that you can vividly imagine, ardently desire, and enthusiastically act upon will inevitably come to pass.
Fred Snyder.
My goal, my mission is to help people enhance their financial IQs by teaching them what they need to know to make better financial decisions.
Fred Snyder. Sunday mornings at 9 on CIL 650. This is CISL Vancouver. Smooth and easy. CIL 650. This is It's Your Money on CL 650. Here once again is Fred Snyder.
Okay, we're back. We're in your face. We're talking about your money and how to keep it. Money and how to keep it is really the subject. We don't do a very good job of keeping it. We do a pretty good job of earning it. Most of us will earn a small fortune during our working careers, but we will not end up keeping an awful lot of what we earn. We'll end up dependent on the government. So ask yourself this question. How long have I worked? How much money have I made so far? How much of that do I have left today? And am I happy with the answers? Chances are you are not. Not if you're like most people. And the reason you're not is that you don't have a plan. Maybe you don't have a financial planner, or maybe you don't have an effective financial planner to help you with the plan. And you don't have the best investment products inside your plan. You don't have a plan, you don't have an advisor, and you don't have the best investment products inside your plan. You cannot succeed based on that formula. So how do you fix it? And believe you me, you have to fix it. Unless you're planning to fail. If that's your plan, you're going to get there. No plan, no planner, not the best products. That's what we're talking about. So once again, the number to call is area code 604-280-0650. You're calling long distance, it's 877-280-0650. You can log on www.cil650.com. If you're shy or reluctant to talk on the air, you can call Frida. Frida's down at the office right now. Area code 604-737-3512. Long distance, 800-661-1495. Lots of callers on the line right now, so we're going to go to Alan from Vancouver. Alan, welcome to the program.
Yes.
Hi, Alan. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
Good morning to you, too.
It's an absolutely stunning morning, and I want to know, are the fish running up the river? Is that why you're going out to fish today?
I don't know. I'm going to the mouth of the Cap.
That's what I hear. I hear that's where they're amassing.
Well, I caught a 25-pound spring there last Saturday.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So and we didn't get there until late. We fished the mouth of the Fraser, but I think the sockeye are gone. I'm not sure, but I think they are.
All right. I have an offer for you. if you'd like to have a shipboard photographer to record your catch, I'm interested in joining it. If you got room.
Well, why not? Meet me
All right.
at.
I'll tell you what. You got my number. Maybe after the show, if you would like to give me a call.
You can meet me. No, I'll tell you what. I'm heading right after the radio show. I'm heading for Thunderbird Marine. That's where my boat is. You can meet me right there at Thunderbird Marine and slip number 8.
Okay. What time will you be there?
I'll be there sometime between 11 and noon. I'll be leaving here at 11.
Okay.
Probably quarter to 12 or so.
All right. If I can make it, I'll be there.
You're most welcome.
Oh, that's really nice of you. Okay. I've given in my number, and because I'm a renter, I realize that there is a significant difference between someone who rents and someone who owns.
Is it cheaper to rent or cheaper to own?
Is it cheaper to rent or cheaper to own?
Yeah.
Well, I would say it has to be, depending on the kind of accommodation you have. I would say that that would be where the deciding factor would be.
It's probably probably cheaper to rent because if you own, if it's a condo, you got condo fees and taxes and repairs and all kinds of other things to consider.
Well, yes, I think it is. It has to be cheaper to rent unless you're renting some like the top echelon people that that rent for like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. But
well, you can pick up software. There's spreadsheets. I spent a fair amount of time on this subject this morning before I got to the radio station, and there's a web page out there that I featured earlier by Rob Carrick, and it's about the cost of owning a home, and he offers an Excel spreadsheet that's in there where you can actually just fill out the sheet, and it gives you your numbers.
Okay.
Good idea to do because you see, this leads to the fact, why am I doing this? Everybody needs to be able to create a budget. You need to be able to define how you're spending your money. If you can't make this definition, you're shot down before you start. So you need to be able to figure out, what does the roof over my head cost? What does my residence cost me? What's it cost me to live where I live? Okay. Now, there's all kinds of ways to increase that or decrease it. You can defer property taxes. You can you can add a bedroom onto your house, all kinds of things that you can do. But you need to know what that is, and you got a budget for it. And that's what this is all about.
Okay. All right.
So what's your number?
My number is 2230.
2230. Okay, Alan, I hope you win.
All right, thank you. And what was your slip number again?
Number 8.
Number 8. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. So again, Alan, I know you're still out there. You're probably listening to the show. My boat is a Triumph. It looks like a Boston whaler. It's 21 feet, and it's got a Thule car top carrier on the top where I can lock my fishing rods in it. So it's black, and you won't see another boat out there that has a Thule on the top. Okay, so I got Emily from Burnaby on the line. Emily, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Hi, Emily. Thanks for waiting.
Okay.
So what do you think it costs to live in your house?
Well, I changed it from my first number, 2225.
2225. Now, you weren't influenced by David, were you?
Nope.
Because those two numbers are only $5 apart. Okay, so Emily, do you have any questions or comments that you'd like to make while I have you on the line?
I do think it's cheaper to rent than to own.
Okay, do you have a financial plan?
No.
Do you have a financial advisor?
No.
Okay, have you ever thought about having a plan or an advisor?
Not at my age.
How old are you?
I don't want to say.
You don't want to say? Well, let me put it this way. I have a client that's 100 years of age.
Really?
Yep. And during my career, I've had 3 clients that were 100 years of age.
Okay.
And in 1964, I did some business with a lady by the name of Desdemona Nesbitt in Winchester, Ontario, which is about 35 miles from Ottawa, and she was 104. and she invested $5,000 for her son who was 85.
Oh, that's interesting.
And you're never too old.
Okay, I'll think about that
So
one.
if you're interested in taking it to the next step, give Frida a call. You can reach Frida at area code 604-737-3512.
Okay,
So, Emily, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your call. Hope you win.
thank you. I hope I do too.
Okay. So Emily's line is now open, and we do have open lines, and we have about 20 minutes before we have to go. So once again, if you just tuned in, I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder, also registered financial planner. We're talking about expenses. We're talking about how you spend your money. And we're preaching that you can't spend it all and hope to succeed financially. You have to keep a part of everything you earn. The only way you're going to do that is to pay yourself first and spend less than you earn. One good way to do that is to pay yourself first. Call yourself your oldest obligation, and you should always pay your oldest obligation first. You should decide that from now on, every time you earn $1, you're going to set aside 10 cents. Make it 20 cents, and that's even better. You should decide if you're going to put money into an RRSP, you're going to take the tax savings from the RRSP and put that into a TFSA. You should decide that you're going to get yourself a written financial plan, a financial advisor to help you make the plan work, and you're going to have the best products inside your plan, and you're going to keep them as the best products by doing a constant evaluation, by getting a MRI or an X-ray or a checkup of your investments on a regular basis. That's what you need to do. If you don't do that, you're probably going to fail financially. You're going to keep on failing, because if you don't have a plan, you do have a plan, yet you're really planning to fail if you don't have a plan. Let's talk to Valerie from Delta. Valerie, welcome to the program.
Hi.
Hi, Valerie. How you doing?
I'm doing real good.
You sound nice and enthusiastic today.
I am.
So what do you think it costs for the roof over your head?
$2,500.
$2,500 a month. Okay.
Yeah.
What's included in that?
Big house, patio.
Your property taxes included in that?
Yes.
Repairs included in that?
Mm-hmm.
Condo fees if it's a condo?
No, it's a house.
Okay. Interest on the mortgage?
I'm not too sure about that.
Okay. Utilities?
Yes.
Okay. $2,500 all in.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good shot at it. Okay, Valerie. Hope you win. Appreciate your call.
You.
You take care. Bye for now.
Bye.
Okay, let's talk to Mark from Surrey. Mark, welcome to the program.
Hello.
Hi, Mark. How you doing?
Not complaining. No one's listening.
They never do.
Nope.
So what do you think it costs for the roof over your head, Mark?
Oh, per year?
I don't care. I can
would
divide
say
by
about
12.
$2,700 a year.
So what's it cost per year?
About $2,700.
$2,700 a year.
Yep.
It's got to cost more than that. That's pretty cheap.
Well,
If you divide that by 12, that's a little more than $200 a month.
that's right. That's about right for me.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you asked about owning or renting. I would think it'd be cheaper to own than rent.
Well, do you own now?
Oh, you bet I do. I have
That's
for 52
why.
years.
If it's only costing you $200 a month, that's pretty good. I'm not going to come out and see it because I want to know your secret.
Well, okay, you're welcome.
Can you share that with our listeners? What's your secret? How do you keep that cost so low?
Well, I know the right people.
Okay. You know the right people. Okay, well, Mark, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your call. Hope you win yourself $500.
Oh, thank you.
That'll pay for your place for 2.5 months.
You bet.
Let's
Thank you.
talk to Tracy. Tracy, welcome to the program.
Hi, Fred. How are you this morning?
Pretty good, Tracy. And you know something, Tracy?
I
decided after you won a couple of times that you can only win once.
I told Frida when I phoned her that that Fred's going to tell me that I can't phone in anymore.
Oh no, you can phone in as much as you want.
Yeah, right. That's funny.
But
you
see, the problem, Tracy, is this. The problem is this. I've taught you too well.
Yes, you've done. I guess I can say that I've actually paid attention in class. I'm going to say that the average cost of living in Vancouver, and that includes the house and the mortgage and the interest and the light and the heat and all that stuff to keep yourself warm in a case of housing. I'm going to say $2,800 a month. And I'd like to know that $200 that the guy before.
Yeah, he's got some kind of a secret there.
I mean, he's got a secret that he needs to share with you, and you pass it on to us.
So you say, Tracy, and again, there's a story here with Tracy. I've advised her to buy a house. I don't know how many times she won't buy it. So I know she rents. But she said, and it's probably because it's $2,800 a month. I know that she doesn't spend $2,800 a month.
No, I don't. I'm just trying to look
but
at
if
the
you own a house,
averages.
that's what it would cost on average.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And you instead have chosen to travel instead of owning a house. And it is cheaper to rent. It is cheaper to rent than it is to own.
And the upkeep. I also realize that the upkeep is not something that I have. I think when you own, you have to really enjoy thinking, well, I've got to put a new roof on. I need to paint this. I need to re-wallpaper something. I need to put it down a new floor or revamp the bathroom. And I just have no interest in doing that.
No, you want to travel.
Yeah,
that's
I want to travel. Yeah.
That's a lifestyle decision.
Yes, yes.
And you're a happy camper.
Yeah, I am. I'm pretty happy. I do the things I enjoy doing. One of them is spending my Sunday morning enjoying your shows. So, and I listen to the one before too, so I get them twice.
Well, you get last week's show and then this week's show.
And this week's show, yeah.
You know,
And anyhow, I'll let you go, Fred. You've got probably piles of people to talk to, so.
Well, we got a few.
Yeah, okay.
Tracy, I appreciate your call. Hope you win.
Yeah.
You can't win.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Tracy's line is now open, and we do have some open lines right now. So if you're out there, you're listening to the show, maybe it's time to make a call. You got a chance to win yourself $500 simply by participating in the show. You got to make an estimate as to what it costs for the roof over your head. So ask yourself this question. You're just sitting there. You're listening to the show. Maybe you're out in the garden. What does it cost me to live in my house? Or what does it cost me to live in the house that I'm renting, if you're renting? What's the cost? When I do my budget and it says housing or accommodation or whatever the heading you use, when that comes up, what do I fill in that box? What number do I put in there? How do I figure that out? Let's talk to George in Burnaby. George, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Fred.
Good morning, George. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. So, the expenses per month. When you're owning your own house, I would say I'm going to go with $3,000 a month.
Okay.
That's my guess at it.
$3,000 a month, $36,000 a year.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions or comments while I have you on the line?
Well, maybe about a year ago or so, just regarding mutual funds, that is. There was one mutual fund that you kind of promoted, but it sort of took a turn, sort of went south, if you want to put it in those kind of words. What's that mutual fund done now? Has it sort of turned around again and improved?
No, not at the point. No, not really.
Oh, wow.
And it's not the mutual fund, it's the whole sector. The sector's called resources, and the whole resource sector is not doing well. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Any investment fund which its underlying assets are resources, it's not going to perform. At least it should in the long run, but maybe the long run's a long time from now. We decided that maybe time to move along and replace that with something else. So
I recall that.
We replaced that fund with infrastructure. I think infrastructure is the place to be right now.
That's right. You were talking about that.
And we didn't put a lot of money. We didn't bet the farm on resources. That was 3% of the whole portfolio. Small percentage. But the fund didn't perform, and it didn't live up to expectations. It's called the expected rate of return. It's not called the guaranteed rate of return. Expected rate of return was pretty good. It didn't live up to expectations.
Yeah.
That happens every now and then. The best hitter in the best home run hitter in the world doesn't hit a home run every time he gets up to bat. Sometimes you strike out. We did on that one.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. And also, just one other thing, just regarding your seminars. Normally you have them on Thursday here in the Vancouver area. But I know it doesn't sound like much, but you might get different kind of clientele if you had it also. Maybe if you rotated that day and put it onto a Tuesday or a Wednesday, for instance. Are you ever thinking about doing that?
Perhaps. We're rethinking the whole thing on workshops and seminars.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's a time-consuming process.
Oh, no doubt.
And sometimes it's time to look after your clients instead of fishing for new clients and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we need new material. So like I said, I'm working on a number of case studies right now, and the new seminars will be based on case studies.
Yeah. Well, just from a personal point of view, I used to go to your seminars, but I can't now just because of my work schedule. It's every Thursday, or it was every Thursday. So it makes it tough. I can't do it.
Okay, so George says $3,000 a month. George, we got to move along. We've got a lot of calls.
I appreciate that, Fred. Thank you.
You take care.
Bye.
Okay, we got Louisa from Vancouver on the line. Louisa, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Fred. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I'll give it a stab at $2,600 for an average house in Vancouver. Now, it didn't cost us that, only because my husband could do all the repairs, and that's what puts your prices up. If you call a plumber, you have to start paying him when he stands up from the table and walks to his car. So it's all the repairs that are astronomical. But if you can do the repairs yourself, well, then, that brings
Well, of course, and that's why from person to person this is a highly variable number.
Yes, it is,
but we're just trying to get an average kind of a number right now.
Yes,
and
regards owning or renting, a 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, but only if, when you're renting, if you would have the discipline to invest. And not everyone would have that discipline to be off on holidays.
You're totally right.
So I would think for young people, it'd be better off for them to own, but the house appreciates, especially in Vancouver.
And when you own, you get the equity build-up in the house as well.
Exactly.
That you don't have when you rent. So there's a number of things to consider.
Yeah, so that even though you're paying all this money out on repairs, if your house appreciates, I think perhaps you are further ahead if you've had the house.
If you had it for any length of time and you look at the buildup of appreciation in the house. But again, what happens if real estate's a bubble and we have a collapse like they had in the United States back in 2008?
Oh, well, that's true, yes.
Okay, Louisa, appreciate your call. Have to move along.
All right. Bye-bye, Fred. Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Yes, I will. You
Let's
too.
Let's talk to Pat from Burnaby. Pat, welcome to the program.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
No problem, Pat.
I'm going to put it in at $2,500. I just did a quick calculation. I thought it was including food and everything else.
No, that's total expenses.
That's too difficult. So anyway, $2,500 is my guess.
Okay. So most people are coming up with around $2,500 a month, about $30,000 a year. So if you have a salary of $60,000 a year, half your before-tax salary is going to pay for the roof over your head. Think about that. That's a big expenditure. It's huge.
Yeah, I know.
And it really, I'm going to say it again, that if you can't measure it, you can't plan.
Yeah.
To plan, you need to be able to measure what's going on. A budget measures what you're spending.
Yeah, and I've been budgeting probably for the last year, and honestly, that's the only way to go. People need to understand that they can't spend more than what they bring in.
You have to control your expenditures.
Yep.
The whole thought process when it comes to financial planning should start by you defining what you spend. You decide what you're going to spend. You decide how much you're going to spend for the roof over your head. You decide how much you're going to spend on groceries. This takes a bit of work.
And
Figure
then
it out.
entertainment takes a big chunk out of that too.
Pardon me?
Entertainment. Travel.
Oh, for sure. How much do you spend on cable vision alone, as an example? There's all kinds of expenses. You got a pet. You got a big dog. How much does it cost for the big dog?
Yeah.
And the continuous repairs that have to take place to fix your house. We had a leak in the kitchen. We had to fix that. The ice maker broke. That cost money. How do you budget for those things that are unexpected? That's what we're talking about.
Always have an emergency fund.
You got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pat, $2,500. Hope you win.
Oh, I do too.
Okay. One more
Fred.
call. We got another Pat from White Rock, I guess. Second Pat?
Morning, Fred.
Hi, Pat. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I can't complain. Wouldn't do
I
any
hope you
good
catch
anyway.
a big one when you're out there. I figure it's going to cost minimum $3,100. But I have another comment. These people that say it's cheaper to rent.
Yes.
My house, and I built it myself, cost me $100,000 35 years ago.
Yep.
I could now sell it probably within a week for about $1.3 million, and that would be tax-free.
You got it. That's
so I
right.
think anybody looking at renting, they better have a close look at how long they're going to rent.
Yep.
And what the pitfalls are at the other end.
And it also depends on whether, if they compare the cost of renting to owning, and they take the differential between the two, and they save and invest the differential. See,
yeah, but how many people would do that?
They don't. That's exactly
That's right.
right. So you're quite right. So really, what it costs depends. Depends on how long you live there and a whole bunch of other things.
Yeah.
But again, you have to come up with a number somehow. It's a benchmark. So how do you figure that number out?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna move along, and I really appreciate the call. We're gonna go to Stats Canada, and we're gonna see what Stats Canada says about this particular subject. You take care. Bye for now. Okay, so Stats Canada, the cost of owning a house. Here's Stats Canada, right here. Hope it works. It's working. And here we go for Vancouver, British Columbia. So if I click on British Columbia, there's British Columbia. There's the total expense in 2011. 2012 is almost $75,000 for the average family in Vancouver. Food expenditures are second. Total current consumption is $57,000, $58,000 for 2017. So let's see. Household operation is $4,300. It's $39. It's gone down. Transportation. Where is shelter? There it is, right there. The cost of shelter is $18,101. So I'm going to call that $1,500 a month. So who was closest to $1,500 a month? It looks like Helen. Helen, $1,500 a month is the number. So Helen, you win. Congratulations. That's Helen from Richmond. Now I had Haley said $2,400. David said $2,000. Alan said $2,230. Emily said $2,225. Valerie said $2,500. Mark said $200 a month. I got to find his secret. Tracy said $2,800 a month. That's the first time I've seen Tracy way off on that number. George said $3,000. Louisa said $2,600. Pat $2,500. Second Pat $3,100. Those are the numbers. And again, don't take this as the gospel, because this is average, and it may be a big variable for most people, but you have to figure out what your cost is. That's what it's all about. So again, we're here every Sunday between 9 and 11 talking about money and how to keep it. We try to teach you all about all that. But what would you summarize from listening to this show today? That the number is a highly variable number. It's all over the place. And most people don't have the foggiest idea what that number is. So what's it cost? Is it cheaper to own? Is it cheaper to rent? You got to make that decision. That's a lifestyle decision. Okay? So once again, thanks for listening. I appreciate your participation in the show. You want more information, you can contact Frida. She's down at the office right now at area code 604-737-3512. If you're calling long distance, it's 800-661-1495. Thanks for listening. See you same time, same station next week, and bye for now.